Hello, BookTube. I've got some mail for you today to continue our streak. I believe our streak is uninterrupted. Yesterday was a federal holiday. There wasn't any mail of any kind, whether it was objectionable or not. So we're back to mail today. I hope we're going to go through every single day this week with mail with no problem at all. The week is going to be, by the look of it, very dry, very temperate, very sunny. Temperatures creeping up to the border of 70 degrees Fahrenheit, never quite crossing it, getting nice and cool, borderline chilly at night. And at the back end of that, it looks to me like a whomping snot load of rain. I think this coming weekend is going to have a lot of rain, chilly rain probably. So perfect reading weather. But let's do these. There aren't many packages. I wanted to jump on the mail streak, so I did just the first delivery of mail. There's more mail to come today. That'll go on the pile for tomorrow. So the first thing is the London Review of Books, one of the foremost literary journals in the world. This has a whole bunch of stuff in it that I'll find interesting, but one of the things my eye automatically gravitates to is whether or not there's a full-length review of something that I have also reviewed. You get butterflies, and I get butterflies in my stomach when that happens, because no matter how long you've been at the reviewing game, you automatically think, well, okay, the reviewer for the London Review of Books had this book for a lot longer time. They were ruminating over it for a lot longer time. Is it possible that they picked out things that were important to note for the reader that you didn't pick out? Is it possible even that they picked out or found howlers, mistakes on the part of the writer that you didn't notice? Always modifying. So what have we got this time around along those lines? Okay, Lorna Finlayson is reviewing two older books, Justice for Animals by Martha Nussbaum and Animal Liberation by Peter Singer. I wonder what that's all about. Do they have new introductions or new editions? They're both really good. They're both really, really good books. Animal Liberation is the more important of the two and the better of the two, and you can tell how important a book it is by how willfully people misunderstand it. They read Animal Liberation, and if they want to continue just mindlessly eating their $1 cheeseburgers, then they intentionally misconstrue it. In the exact same way, I can't help but notice that otherwise smart critics of The Origin of Species intentionally misconstrued it. So you're saying my grandfather was a monkey? No. Darwin's not saying that. Nothing in Origin of Species says that. Nothing in Origin of Species even allows that. You just made that up. That's all. You took a cartoon simplification of what you read and made it up in order to dismiss it because you like to think, I don't know, that you're made in the image of a god. I don't know. Same thing with Animal Liberation, where people read it and say, oh, Peter Singer, he advocates infanticide. He doesn't. He doesn't. It's not in the book. It's not even construable from the book. But I'm not going to have to worry about those two because I didn't review Animal Liberation when it came out. I kick myself about that, but you only get one bite at the apple. And I kick myself, but I never did it. And I never reviewed Martha Nussbaum's book either, although I really liked it. But is there anything in... Oh, okay. Colin Burrow reviews a bunch of books on George Orwell, including D.J. Taylor's new sort of recension of his older biography of Orwell that I really liked. It's sticking with me. I really enjoyed that book, and I reviewed it, so we'll see how that goes. James Vincent reviews Keith Houston's book, The Empire of the Sum, which is his history of the pocket calculator. I read that book and loved it. I absolutely loved it. I didn't review it, but I absolutely loved it. Oh, now that's going to make me wistful that I didn't review it, because I think I've missed my chance to do that. Let's see here. Is there any other square on thing here? Okay, yes, Eric Foner, no less, reviews Jonathan Ives' new book on Martin Luther King, his new biography of Martin Luther King. Well, okay, Eric Foner and I don't agree on much. I hope we agree that it's a major work, but we shall see. And then the other periodical was this. It is the National Review. This is a political magazine that has a blood-brain barrier between the front of the book and the back of the book, usually. So there are book reviews in the back of the National Review that have usually been my only reason for getting this. You might wondering why I'm suddenly getting a renewed subscription to this. Well, it's written into their bylaws that if their tracking information shows that David Murphy visits your house, they toss in a free subscription. I figure if you're spending evenings talking with David Murphy, you're probably a National Review reader anyway, so they just give you a subscription. But one thing I couldn't help but notice when I was thumbing my way through this, my eyes first fell on a very familiar picture. I know that face like I know my own. I thought, what are you doing straight away from the book section? Why are you in the front of the book? There's a piece here by Jay Nordlinger that's called Cooper's Union, and its subtitle is What James Fenimore Cooper Has to Tell Us About Our Democracy Today. Now, James Fenimore Cooper in the hands of a political hack on the National Review Board, that's probably going to make me unhappy in the end, not happy, but it's still, the prospect is wonderful. To read somebody writing about my beloved James Fenimore Cooper is wonderful. And Fenimore Cooper, unlike Washington Irving, Fenimore Cooper was a legitimately fascinating political figure as well as a literary one. So we'll see. We'll see how much of that Jay Nordlinger gets. And then we'll do the mail, the actual mail proper. Just a few packages here, which I'm confident that we will sail our way through these with no trouble at all. Mail doesn't give us trouble anymore. It just doesn't. Let's see what this first one is. Oh, okay. Wonderful. All right, this is a double, or maybe this is the finished copy. This is translated literature. This is by Sayon Lebrecht. It's translated by Gila Khan Hoffman, and it's called The Bridesman. One of these lovely French flap editions from Europa Editions. I don't have any sheet on this thing, but what have we got here? From one of the most important voices in contemporary Hebrew literature, The Bridesman tells the gripping story of a family reunion that unearths a forgotten past and life-changing secrets. Misha is an Israeli expat living in Los Angeles and making his living as a ghostwriter. There are still ghostwriters in the world? You astonish me. One day he receives an unexpected assignment. Adela, his beloved uncle's wife, has bought him a ticket to Israel and paid for him to stay at an expensive boutique hotel. She wishes to meet with him. Years earlier, Misha was the bridesman at Adela's wedding. He remembers her as a rebellious young woman, an orphan and an outsider, who was mocked by his close-knit family of Persian Jews. Misha is stunned by the Adela of today, poised, confident, with little trace of the nervous woman he remembers. When, finally, Adela reveals the reason she has invited Misha to stay with her and recounts the long-hidden history of her life, powerful memories resurface, and nothing can prepare Misha for the surprises she has in store for him. And I have this thing, but I have not read it yet. What will those surprises be? Is it possible that Misha is going to have to change the addressee on his Mother's Day cards? I don't know. I have no idea. I haven't read this thing, so I'll have to forge ahead. Now that I have it, I have the finished copy. I'm assuming that's what it is. I'm assuming it's an October release. This next one is kind of floppy. It could be a catalog. I don't get many book catalogs from... No, it's not a catalog. It's ever so much better than a catalog. This is the new copy of Smoke Signals of Big Canoe News. Isn't that lovely? Oh my, all full color. Now, you might look at this and think, all right, well, this is a news and views from Big Canoe and surrounding communities. This is a Georgia newspaper, full color, multiple sections, that comes out once a week at the beginning of every month. And you might look at that and think, well, okay, why are you so happy to get a local Georgia newspaper, and why would I care? And there's a very good reason for that. When you go into Big Canoe News, you will see the arts and entertainment section. And again, if you're looking at a regional paper, you might look at the arts and entertainment section and think, okay, well, maybe Steve has a book review buried deep in the arts and entertainment section. Maybe that's what's going on here, because you are thinking that's where it will be if it's anywhere. A book review once a month or every other month will be in the arts and entertainment section, but you would be wrong. Because Big Canoe News, bless their hearts, they have an entirely independent, freestanding book section. 2 big, gorgeous pages of the book review section, of the book section. Isn't that amazing? Just amazing. All full color, all just lovely, and I might point out, not regional at all. which is another thing you might be expecting. If you were looking at a regional newspaper, a small regional newspaper, you might be thinking, okay, so they do dedicated books coverage, but it's all going to be local authors, Georgia titles, that sort of thing. Still not going to be interesting. No. The book section that I run at Big Canoe News, I'm the books editor for Big Canoe News, which isn't the biggest paper in the world. In fact, it may be the smallest paper in the United States, but it's one of very few that has a books editor. Most of them don't. Most of them, they might have a books editor on the masthead, but the books editor has precious little to do because the books are folded into arts and entertainment and the reviews one once in a blue moon. We have a book section every month, 2 full pages in full color. And I'm the editor of that section. And as I've always said on this channel, there are 2 ways to do this kind of job. You can either do a local section, so you're boosting local authors, you're boosting local books, that sort of thing, or you can very much not do that. You can run a national section that's broad and general interest. I myself have always believed, I've done this job a few times, I myself have always believed that there is no such thing as a local reader. And so my section is not local literature at all. Instead, it's broad, general interest stuff. We have a column here by Amberly Venters on new horror for the autumn season. There we go. We have, I do a full-length review in every issue. It seems to draw attention to the section, which is what I want. Once the attention is at a level that I'm comfortable with, I will stop. I did a new review of that new biography by the Emperor Justinian. We've got a review by Julia Tenney of Alfie and Me, Carl Safina's new book about adopting a little screech owl. I also do a column every month, an Ex Libris column on new releases coming out that month. And I try to cover a wide array of those new releases. And then one more piece. Yes, Justin Hickey does a review of that new book on sharks that we saw. So that is a nice big amount of book-dedicated reading. That is really, really nice. You don't get that in every newspaper. So if you feel like you want this every month in full color on your doorstep, feel free to subscribe. Just go to Big Canoe to Smoke Signals online and buy a subscription. You will get this on your doorstep every month. And I admit, some of the local Georgia stuff won't maybe be all that interesting to you, although some of the opinion pieces are good for anybody, for any time zone. But you'll be getting my section. You'll be getting the book section that is currently run by me. I am an editor at the online journal Open Letters Review. We run new reviews all the time, new reviews every week. I do a lot of writing for Open Letters Review. I really, really enjoy it, but there's nothing quite matches the feeling of being an editor for a print newspaper. Being an editor for a section of a print newspaper. Nothing quite matches that feeling. I've had it many, many times, but I honestly thought in the 21st century that those days were over and would never come again. As one old friend of mine put it years ago, book section editorships don't just fall off trees. You can go your whole life without getting one. So it's extra joyful to get this in the mail. And if you want to, feel free to subscribe. The only request I would make of you is that if you are going to subscribe to Big Canoe to Smoke Signals, for me, because you want to get my book section, which is not local, it's a teeny reading version of the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times every weekend. It's a teeny version of that. New releases, columns. If you decide to subscribe to Big Canoe because of me, feel free to drop a note to the folks at Big Canoe telling them that. Okay? This is a natural inbred reflex of mine as a lifelong freelancer. I'm not a freelancer for Big Canoe. I'm actually on the masthead. I actually am the book section editor. And I'm on very good footing with them. I love them, and they know it. But it never hurts. It never hurts to have the powers that be, not just the editor-in-chief, but also the advertisers, know that I'm garnering readers. That never hurts. So feel free, if you do that, feel free to add the little PS, I'm here for Steve's book section. Anyway, then we'll move on to the last package, and then we'll be done here. Boy, oh boy, can't do better than getting your own news section in the mail. There's no beating that. So what have we got? What is next here? Okay, this is a December release from the folks at Soho Crime. This is Ilaria Tutti, translated from the Italian by Ekin Ochlap. And this is a Teresa Battaglia novel called Daughter of Ashes. What have we got here? Northern Italy and ancient religious lore provide the backdrop for the latest installment in Ilaria Tutti's thoroughly modern and gripping series. As a police superintendent, Teresa Battaglia, most notorious case is unexpectedly reopened, testing Teresa's mind and closest relations with the closing chapters of her career. Superintendent Teresa Battaglia, a trailblazing criminal detective and unapologetically gruff every-woman protagonist, has proven herself a standout in the detective genre over the course of Ilaria Tutti's popular series of translated Italian literary thrillers. The series opener, Flowers Over the Inferno, was a Barnes & Noble monthly pick in paperback, and the sequel, The Sleeping Nymph, was nominated for a Sue Grafton Memorial Award. Now, in Daughter of Ashes, Tutti performs a triumphant dive into Teresa's gritty past, adding profound depth to this beloved character as she solves what could be her last case. I don't know that I remember either of those two first ones. That's pretty bad. Do I remember either of those first ones? I don't know that I do. While on leave and recovering from a recent brush with death, Teresa is urgently summoned to meet with Giacomo Mainardi, the menacing serial killer she helped lock up 27 years ago. Giacomo has disconcerting news. Someone is after him, and only Teresa holds the key to keeping everyone, including herself, safe. Secretly aware that she's experiencing the early stages of dementia, Teresa pushes through, determined to close the case that has haunted her for decades. Okay, so this was translated from the Italian. When did this come out? 2021? I don't think I know this series. I don't think I do. Obviously, this was out in early December. Before I dig into this thing, I'm going to have to dig in to my reading journal and see whether or not I've actually encountered these books before. Sounds like they're pretty high profile in the United States, so a lot of you probably have. Any of you read this series? Do you like it? Anyway, this comes out in December, so we've got two cute little works of fiction, both in translation, very interesting, and also the Big Canoe News book section. Yes, it's the whole Big Canoe. It's the whole of Smoke Signals paper. But really the thing here is the book section. Very nice. Very nice. That certainly keeps our mail streak going. So I'll wrap this up for now, but I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.